So religion is the foundation of one's perception and processing of reality. It is the set of presuppositions that one holds to be irrefutable. In that way, you can build your worldview on top of it and be secure in how you walk through life. So it's like a constitution for your mind, right? Now, bear in mind, I'm not religious myself, but this is how I see it. Now, why all the magic stuff, you might ask? Well, the reason why religious claims are justified through magic, essentially, is to make them intellectually unassailable, meaning given that you accept that premise that it's based in magic. Now, if it weren't magic, your foundation wouldn't be set in stone, and you would have to be able to constantly renegotiate the presuppositions for your worldview. Now, theologists will tell you that is not possible. I happen to think it is, but, it's not for everyone. So I'll stop that discussion here because, this is about world building or something. So the second function of religion works thusly. When you formalize the foundation, it makes it applicable not only to you, but to other individuals as well. And what that means is if you know that your neighbor shares your religion, you can predict their behavior to some extent, meaning you can trust them. And conversely, if they don't, you can't, which is why people tended to be suspicious of other religions, right? Now, on to world building. Now, in a medieval society with low police response times and low security in general, you better hope your population is very religious, because, then they can trust each other and interact peacefully and be productive. So religion is not only the constitution for your mind, but now it's the constitution for the entire society. So it works like the Constitution. So in a way, the medieval Christian world wasn't terribly unlike the United States. Now, in a lot of fantasy world building, the reasoning in play seems to be religion equals magic. We have magic in our world, so in our world, the magic comes from religion. Now, I happen to think that if the magic part of religion is no longer metaphysical, but part of reality, as it were, then it no longer has its function in the religion, right? Because now the magic itself is intellectually assailable because it's part of our frame of reference, which means its power cannot be endless. And you could say there's always a part of it that's metaphysical and infinite, but that kind of dilutes the whole thing. And then using religion as an arsenal for magical weaponry kind of cheapens it entirely, right? And then a lot of times you see multiple religions in the same area in fantasy games, which, just spells jihad. Because remember, it's the foundation of your whole society. And if there are multiple foundations, you have multiple societies that cannot trust each other and even ought to mistrust each other, right? So I think it's just important to be aware that religion is not some lifestyle or fashion nonsense, especially not in a medieval type setting, and that it is by definition something more meaningful than a set of tattoos in your character creation screen, or even a different play style for a mage. Now, this all sounded kind of Christian-centric, but there are other religions in history, many of which have died out essentially, but that doesn't mean that they were any less meaningful to their adherents, right? Like the Norse gods weren't just superhero stories to, entertain children. There was a whole abstract understanding of how the world works and how to behave in the world to be the best person you can be and have the best society you can be, and to flourish and all that. So in that respect, you could say certain adaptations of ancient pantheons could be seen as distasteful, depending on how respectful and how accurate to the initial idea the adaptations are. And by distasteful, I don't mean like offensive and, let's cancel them, but there are good and bad ways to adapt anything, be it religion or just another artwork. So in essence, you have to identify the essence of what you're adapting and then orient yourself toward that and build everything you build around that. And a lot of adaptations nowadays do the exact opposite. But that's beside the point of this video. Anyway, here's an ad for the game that I made. Slasher's Keep is a first-person roguelike with a focus on melee combat and loot. It has randomly generated dungeons with orcs, mole rats, and other monsters to fight, lots of loot to find, and a drag-and-drop weapon crafting system. I made it all by my lonesome, and it's available for PC on Steam.